This video is for educational purposes only and does not constitute professional medical advice. Please consult with your doctor or a qualified healthcare specialist before starting any new vitamins or supplements mentioned in this video. Use of this information is at your own risk. The most terrifying moment of your 60s won't be a sudden illness. It will be the exact second you sit down and realize your legs are simply too weak to push you back up. You've been lied to about how to stop this. Piling on more steak, eggs, and protein shakes is actually speeding up a hidden cellular disease that is actively pushing you toward a wheelchair. Your muscle cells have gone completely deaf, and if you don't use a highly specific biological trigger to force them open, your legs will inevitably collapse. The most terrifying moment of your 60s will not be a sudden, dramatic illness. It will be the exact second you sit down in your favorite chair, lean forward, and realize with a sudden, paralyzing chill down your spine that your legs are simply too weak to push you back up. Look down at your legs right now. They might look the same size they did a decade ago, but beneath the skin, a silent, irreversible decay is taking place. Your solid muscle is actively being dissolved and replaced by toxic inflammatory tissue. The standard medical advice you have been given for decades to just eat more meat, consume more whey, and pile on the animal protein is not just wrong. It is actively trapping your body in this state of rapid, terrifying physical decline. You have been lied to, and this blind obsession with protein is precisely what is pushing you closer to a wheelchair with every passing day. Welcome to EldraFit Nutrition. It's a pleasure to have you with us today. If you want to uncover the hidden truths about your aging body and discover the science-backed nutritional protocols that can actually save your mobility, please hit that subscribe button right now. Your support is the only thing that gives this channel the motivation to keep uncovering these life-saving physiological secrets for you. Now, we must expose the fatal biological block that is destroying your lower body. The primary reason your thighs and calves are shrinking and losing their structural integrity after 60 has absolutely nothing to do with a lack of protein intake. You could force-feed yourself premium steaks and thick protein shakes from morning until night, but it will not build a single ounce of functional leg muscle. This happens because your muscle cells have gone completely biologically deaf. They have developed a devastating, largely ignored condition known as anabolic resistance. I want you to imagine that every single muscle cell in your legs is wearing a pair of heavy, noise-canceling headphones. The dietary protein you eat is standing right next to them, screaming instructions to grow, to repair microscopic tears, and to build strength. The instructions are perfectly correct, and the volume is incredibly loud, but the message is simply not getting through the barrier. Because your cells are forcefully rejecting the growth signal, all that expensive dietary protein you are swallowing never actually becomes muscle tissue. Instead, it gets aggressively oxidized for immediate energy or excreted from your body as useless waste, while your legs continue to wither away under your own weight. You are essentially building a prison for your own mobility, flooding your digestive system with raw materials that have absolutely no construction crew to utilize them. The industry has completely missed the fact that to rebuild a failing, aging leg, you do not need more building blocks. You need a way to rip those noise-canceling headphones off your cells so they can finally hear the signal again. And the powerful compounds capable of shattering this anabolic resistance are not found in a butcher shop or a supplement store. They are hidden inside 5 specific, completely underestimated fruits. Before we reveal the first fruit that will physically stop your leg muscles from dissolving, I want to ask you a vital question. Please pause the video right now and type your answer, A or B, in the comments below. What do you truly believe is the biggest threat to your physical independence right now? Is it A, a lack of dietary protein in your daily meals? Or B, your body's biological inability to actually absorb and utilize the nutrients you eat? Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and let us see how many of you have been trapped by the great protein myth. The greatest enemy currently dismantling your leg muscles from the inside out is a relentless, smoldering fire known as chronic inflammation. Your legs contain the largest and most metabolically demanding muscle groups in your entire body, requiring a massive and constant supply of cellular energy just to keep you standing upright and balanced. But as you cross the threshold of 60, the microscopic power plants inside your thigh and calf muscles begin to suffer catastrophic failures. These power plants, called mitochondria, become heavily damaged and start leaking highly reactive, toxic oxygen species directly into your surrounding muscle tissue. This constant toxic leakage triggers your body's internal immune alarms, creating a state of chronic, low-grade inflammation that essentially commands your biological cleanup crew to start tearing down your own healthy muscle fibers. You are literally cannibalizing your own legs to survive. This systemic inflammation is the heavy lock that keeps the noise-canceling headphones securely fastened on your muscle cells, actively preventing any anabolic growth signals from penetrating the cell wall. To extinguish this devastating fire, we must turn to a complex compound that modern nutritional science is just beginning to fully respect. Goji berries possess a unique structural density found in almost no other food on Earth. They contain an exclusive, highly specialized class of complex carbohydrates known as Lycium barbarum polysaccharides. When you consume these specific berries, these dense molecules interact directly with your overloaded immune system, quietly and systematically suppressing the pro-inflammatory cytokines that are actively driving the destruction of your muscle tissue. They physically stop the cellular demolition crew in its tracks, usually while you are resting in deep sleep. But goji berries offer a second, equally critical lifeline for your failing legs. They are exceptionally rich in a compound called betaine, which acts as the ultimate biological precursor for creatine synthesis within the human body. As you age, your natural internal creatine production plummets drastically, leaving your legs feeling unnaturally heavy, perpetually weak, and completely incapable of generating the explosive mechanical force needed to catch yourself if you suddenly trip on a staircase. By supplying a pure source of betaine, goji berries reignite your body's innate ability to produce its own creatine, restoring that critical burst of physical power and stability to your lower limbs. However, stopping the internal inflammatory fire is only half the battle. You must also rescue the failing mitochondrial power plants themselves before they cause more damage. This is where the specific biological profile of papaya becomes absolutely essential for anyone over the age of 60. Papaya is one of the most concentrated natural sources of a specific, highly active carotenoid called beta-cryptoxanthin. This vital compound acts as a microscopic, impenetrable shield, wrapping itself around the vulnerable mitochondria inside your leg muscles and protecting them from the severe oxidative damage that causes them to leak toxins in the first place. By preserving the structural integrity of your cellular energy factories, you ensure that your muscles actually have the raw biochemical power required to synthesize new protein. Furthermore, papaya delivers an enormous payload of lycopene, a potent vascular enhancer that forcefully commands your aging blood vessels to dilate. The severe circulatory decline in aging legs is a primary reason why lower muscle tissue starves to death, as oxygen and crucial amino acids simply cannot navigate the narrowed vessels to reach the deep, load-bearing fibers of the quadriceps and hamstrings. The concentrated lycopene in papaya physically widens these restricted pathways, flushing a torrential, life-saving flow of oxygen, amino acids, and repair signals straight down into your extremities. Even if we successfully extinguish the cellular fires and force the blood vessels open, your lower body will still face a silent structural collapse if the muscle fibers themselves refuse to absorb the nutrients delivered to them. As you cross into your 60s, a deeply unsettling biological phenomenon takes root inside your legs, known in the medical community as myosteatosis. You might look down at your thighs and calves and assume they have maintained their size, but beneath the surface, functional muscle tissue is actively being suffocated and replaced by marbling fat. This fatty infiltration is not merely a cosmetic issue. It is a highly toxic, metabolically active invader that secretes ceramides and completely paralyzes your muscles' insulin receptors. When your leg muscles become insulin resistant due to this internal fat, The biological doorways that normally allow amino acids to enter and rebuild the tissue are slammed shut and padlocked. You can eat all the protein in the world, but your legs will continue to starve because the building blocks are physically locked out. To shatter this padlock, we must rely on a remarkable, highly specific fatty acid found exclusively in avocados. This compound, known as avocatin B, acts as a biological master key. It bypasses the traditional, broken metabolic pathways and directly repairs the insulin signaling cascade on the surface of your muscle cells. By restoring the sensitivity of these receptors, avocatin B forces the cellular doorways wide open, ensuring that the critical amino acids circulating in your bloodstream are violently pulled into the muscle fibers where they belong. But opening the door is only the first step. You also need a fresh construction crew to rebuild the damage. This is where the profound power of the pomegranate comes into play. Pomegranates contain dense concentrations of elagitannins, which your gut bacteria masterfully convert into an astonishing molecule called urolithin A. This compound is the most potent natural trigger ever discovered for a survival mechanism called mitophagy. Urolithin A acts like a ruthless internal inspector, hunting down the dead, dysfunctional mitochondria and the toxic fat infiltrating your legs, forcefully breaking them down and clearing the debris. More importantly, this miraculous compound directly targets and awakens your muscle satellite cells, the dormant stem cells resting on the edges of your muscle fibers. For decades, these stem cells have been sleeping, slowly losing their ability to repair your aging legs. Urolithin A shocks them back to life, commanding them to multiply and fuse with your existing damaged leg muscles to create brand new, the incredibly dense, and highly functional muscle tissue, effectively reversing the biological clock on your mobility. Yet, all of this miraculous cellular awakening, all the cleared pathways and revived stem cells, will be utterly useless if the physical framework holding your legs together suddenly snaps under the pressure. Building dense muscle tissue is completely meaningless if the structural anchors connecting that muscle to your skeleton are rotting away. The patellar tendon in your knee and the thick Achilles tendon at your heel bear the entire crushing weight of your body every single time you take a step. As you age, the collagen turnover in these critical lifelines slows to an absolute crawl. They become stiff, brittle, and incredibly fragile, transforming from thick, pliable cables into dry, fraying ropes. A single misstep off a curb can cause a catastrophic rupture, instantly ending your mobility, regardless of how much muscle you have managed to save. Furthermore, your aging digestive system is failing to extract the raw materials needed to fortify these structures. After 60, your stomach acid plummets dramatically, meaning that massive steak you ate is passing through your intestines largely undigested. You are absorbing only a fraction of the amino acids you actually consume. To solve both the digestive failure and the impending collapse of your connective tissues, you must introduce the kiwi fruit into your daily protocol. The kiwi contains a uniquely aggressive proteolytic enzyme called actinidin. Unlike standard digestive enzymes that require a highly specific environment, actinidin survives the varying pH levels of your aging gut, ruthlessly slicing through the toughest, most complex protein bonds. It ensures that the meat you eat is completely liquefied into free amino acids, maximizing the payload delivered to your newly awakened leg muscles. But the kiwi's most vital role is the preservation of your physical independence through its massive, concentrated payload of vitamin C. This nutrient is the absolute, non-negotiable biological cofactor required to synthesize new collagen. When you consume this potent fruit before physical movement, you are directly flooding your brittle tendons with the exact raw material they need to rebuild their elasticity and tensile strength. You are physically reweaving the fraying cables in your knees and ankles, forging an unbreakable, shock-absorbing framework that can actually support the renewed strength of your lower body, ensuring that your legs remain a foundation of power rather than a ticking time bomb. To physically rescue your legs from the brink of collapse, you must orchestrate these 5 biological activators into a precise, non-negotiable daily protocol. This is not about randomly eating fruit whenever you remember. It is about strategically deploying a chemical construction crew. Begin your morning by consuming 2 kiwis alongside your breakfast protein. As the actinidin forcefully dismantles the meat or eggs into usable amino acids, the vitamin C immediately begins reinforcing the fraying collagen in your patellar tendons. At midday, slice half an avocado into your lunch. The avocadin B will actively repair the insulin receptors across your thighs, ensuring that the amino acids circulating in your blood are violently pulled into the muscle tissue rather than being locked out by intramuscular fat. Mid-afternoon is your window of highest vulnerability, so you must intervene by eating a cup of papaya and drinking a glass of pure pomegranate juice. The lycopene will force your leg vessels to dilate, while the L-agitanins begin their transformation into urolithin A, preparing to hunt down the toxic mitochondria deep within your calves. Finally, before you sleep, consume a handful of dried goji berries to actively suppress the inflammatory fires that attempt to dismantle your muscle fibers in the dark. However, the most critical element of this entire protocol is the physical blueprint you provide to your body. You have gathered the highest quality materials and the most elite biological crew, but without a mechanical signal, nothing will be built. You do not need to lift heavy weights in a crowded gym to achieve this. Instead, you must create a powerful, localized vacuum inside your legs. Immediately after your midday meal, simply stand up and sit back down in a sturdy chair 10 to 15 times. This basic mechanical tension acts as a physical floodgate. The forceful contraction of your quadriceps and glutes creates a localized demand, violently sucking the newly unlocked amino acids, the urolithin A, and the oxygen-rich blood directly down into the specific tissues that desperately need them. You are manually directing the healing power exactly where gravity and aging have done the most damage. The profound lesson here is that aging and frailty are not a passive, inevitable decline that you must quietly accept. For decades, the medical and fitness industries have pushed a dangerous, overly simplified narrative. Just eat more protein and hope your body figures out what to do with it. They treated the aging human body like a simple math equation, completely ignoring the complex, beautiful, and deeply sensitive biological signaling systems that actually govern our physical independence. The truth is that your body is a brilliant, highly reactive ecosystem. When your legs begin to break down in your 60s, your body is not simply running out of fuel. It is experiencing a catastrophic breakdown in internal communication. By mindlessly consuming protein, without addressing the cellular deafness of anabolic resistance, you are merely throwing expensive materials at a brick wall and wondering why a house isn't being built. You must shift your mindset right now from merely feeding your body to actively communicating with it. The application of this knowledge in your daily life means no longer looking at food as just empty calories or basic macronutrients. You must begin viewing specific foods as biological codes, keys designed to unlock very specific cellular doors. When you eat an avocado, you are not just eating healthy fat. You are actively turning the insulin receptors in your thighs back on. When you eat a kiwi, you are sending a direct, non-negotiable chemical command to your body to weave stronger tendons around your knees and ankles. By combining these 5 specific fruits with the mechanical trigger of a simple chair squat, you are reclaiming absolute control over your own biology. You are forcefully telling your legs to rebuild, to solidify, and to carry you safely through the rest of your life. Do not let your world shrink to the size of a single room simply because you were given the wrong nutritional advice. Take control of your cellular signaling today and build a lower body that outright refuses to fail you. I would love to hear your perspective on this approach. Which of the 5 fruits we discussed today are you planning to incorporate into your daily routine first? Please take a moment to leave your answer in the comments below so our community can share ideas and support each other. If you found this information eye-opening and want to continue uncovering the real science behind protecting your physical independence, please subscribe to EldraFit Nutrition. Your subscription directly fuels our motivation to bring you more life-saving, science-backed content in the future.